Good morning. This is Dr. John Whitcomb talking about how COVID is much worse for your heart than we ever imagined. Really interesting study because it sort of shows how dangerous this virus is. This is not just a little influenza. The first clue came in a study from the Cleveland Clinic in early July, in looking at their incidence of congestive cardiomyopathy. That's when the cells of your heart are failing and your heart starts to dilate and get bigger. And it used to be 1.8%. During the pandemic, it's jumped up to 7.8%. That's a quadrupling of incidence of a relatively uncommon problem. Now it's becoming quite a big problem. Well, actually another study from Germany, which is what this week report is on, looked at 100 patients who had recently recovered from proven COVID. 33% of them had been hospitalized and 67 had recovered at home. And they did an MRI of them. And their MRI with T1, T2 type scanning showed all sorts of scar tissue. And this was looking at them on average of like 71 days later. 3 of them of the 71 had troponin levels high enough to diagnose like 100. Were elevated in 3 and 71 and above 13 and 5. That's enough to diagnose a heart attack. That's huge. And 60% of the patients showed ongoing signs of inflammation by inflammatory markers. And actually the study participants were so alarmed, they actually biopsied the heart and they found the heart muscle was filled with lymphocytes, which is inflammatory cells. This is damaging your heart and making scar tissue. Wow. So 60% of people had ongoing effects in their heart, measurable months later, regardless of how sick they were at the time of presentation. What does that mean for all of us? This is not a mild illness, even if you recover. Even for somebody who doesn't think they got the disease, you might have measurable damage to your heart for the rest of your life. And if it's happening to your heart, we will find it in other organs. And certainly you'll hear about in another one of my postings about in your brain. But I have now seen a liver failure die from it. I have seen kidney failure dying from it. This disease is capricious in what it picks. Please get a vaccination. The risk-benefit is so massively on the side of benefit. Yeah, a few people get sick. It's always a tragedy with a vaccination. Much less than what's being damaged by everyday, what seems like simple outpatient infection. Dr. John Whitcomb with really bad news. News and nutrition. This virus is going to be with us forever. Get a shot.